Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Carrying on our top 5 week, we have the top 5 heavy tanks in the game. And again, this is my opinion. I'm sure you guys will have different opinions as to what are the top 5 heavy tanks in the game. Now, as always, or as before, I am sort of changing up the tiers, so I'm not just going to stick to one tier. I'm trying to go sort of a tier 6, tier 7, tier 8, tier 9 and tier 10. Tier 6, I played around with a few tanks. The ARL I thought was a fantastic tank, and at first I was playing the ARL to get footage to add the ARL into this top 5, but then I was just dying. I was getting penned by a lot of people, so I thought, you know what, I'll go and play what I think was maybe the next best thing, and that is the VK36. Now, having played the VK36, I did kind of change my mind, and I thought I would add this instead of the ARL. It got buffed, it got an armor buff quite a while ago now, and it really has made the tank very, very strong. The speed is pretty solid for a heavy tank, but the armor profile is really, really good. Even your side armor and sort of the rear, you can get bounces, especially when you are coming up against tier 5s. Tier 7, your side plate and your rear plate, yeah, you're not going to bounce as much, but your front plate, when you're angled, is very, very solid, even against those tier 7 tanks. You're not going to bounce everything, of course. You're a tier 6 tank. Your armor isn't the greatest, but it does the job. It got buffed, and it has made it really, really strong. As you can see, the gun is pretty solid. This game we've bounced 800 damage so far, which is pretty good against tier 7 tanks. And now at the moment it is a 2 versus 2. We're on 2,000 damage. Our E25 has great DPM, but we want to try and not let him get shot against this SU-100. Now, of course, got tanked with big guns, good penetration. They won't have any problem whatsoever to get through your bottom plate. But like I said, against those medium tanks and light tanks, if you can angle your tank, then yeah, the front plate or even the whole of your front really is quite strong. So bear that in mind if you are playing the tank. You're not gonna bounce everything, and you have to bear that in mind. So we are going to get shot here, or we are going to get the shot there into the SU-100, and now it's just a race against time with supremacy points. This U-Panzer could have just tried running away, but you know, the E25 is pretty quick tank, but we are going to get there, and we are going to get the kill for the win. So it was a nice win. Moving up to tier 7, as I said, I think in yesterday's video or the day before's video, we're not going to add the Smasher, or we're not going to add the Annihilator, because those are two broken tanks on a different level. However, the T29 is a kind of counter tank to them two tanks. Yes, you can get penned from both tanks, and especially the Smasher. Usually the Smasher does have to switch to sort of the heat to penetrate the front plate. Now, the front plate on this and the turret is so strong, like really, really strong, and it is a perfect tank for everyone, for all kind of skill levels. It's a really good tank. It has the armor profile. It's not too slow. It doesn't really have the high alpha sort of. You're looking at 350, 300, sometimes a little bit less, but it does the job. It really does the job. It's got a good gun, got good armor profile, and it isn't that slow out there as well. It's a pretty solid tank. Now, the armor, as you can see, the turret, sorry, is quite a big turret. So to maximize the armor values of the tank, you do have to kind of be facing the enemy team. If you can go hold down, then you will get bounces. You'll get quite a few bounces, especially when you are top tier. Against tier 8, of course, you will get penned much easier, but you can still get bounces in tier 10. But overall, I think this is one of the best tier 7 tanks in the entire game, not just heavies overall. Now, moving up to tier 8, we have one of my favorite tanks in the game, and that is the Centurion Action X. Now, this tank is absolutely beautiful. I love the look of the tank. I love the camos on the tank. I love the fact that you can have two legendary camos if you wanted to. I run this one, keep calm and carry on, because I just think it's an amazing camo, and I think Wargaming did really good with this camouflage. But overall, the tank is such a solid tank. It's got a turret, it has great DPM, it has penetration. It doesn't really have the whole armor, so if you are in the middle of the open, then you will get penetrated quite easily. But you need to maximize the gun depression and the turret on this thing. You do have weak points on the turret, but if you can sort of move backwards, forwards all the time, it will make a sort of difficult pen. It is that low alpha gun, so it only does around 200, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, but you do have that DPM. It's only sort of a 4.5 second reload down to around 4 seconds or 3.9 when you are using that adrenaline. So as you can see there, we were in the open and the IS-3 had no problems penning us, and that was our first pen. We managed to block 460, and at this point in the game it's a 7 versus 3. We're just going to rush these guys. We've hardly bounced anything at the moment. I mean, we've penned almost every single one of our shots. 238 roll there, you can see that was a high roll as well, so you're not really going to get too much more than that, but it's a fantastic tank, and when this tank does come for sale, I strongly recommend this, getting this tank if it comes at the right price, because it is a solid tank, it's a fun tank to play as well, and it definitely is one of my go-to tanks. If I want to play tier 8, this is one of my go-to tanks. Extremely fun tank to play. Moving up to tier 9, again one of the best tier 9s in the game. It is the E75. Now the E75, the E100 leads on from the E75, and it's such a different tank. Obviously the E75 doesn't have the high alpha like the E100 does, but it has a solid armor profile all around the tank, well, the front plate and the turret at least. So if you can get into these positions where you are facing the enemy, now you can bounce everywhere, and it's funny to see that. I mean, we bounced 1200 damage so far. We got tanks all around us. It was a 3 versus 6, but of course we do have the supremacy points. I thought I messed up there shooting that tank that just gets shot, so that was a wasted shot there. But at the moment I'm just trying to keep these guys here, trying to keep my team alive, because we do have the supremacy points over this team. And there goes the K91. So now I want to push forward and take care of the Jag Tiger 8.8, because again, he's a one shot, but our team does manage to clear him. So our team did really good. I mean, the 2 tanks left alive basically just sat in where they are now. They haven't really moved, but you know, they've done the job. They stopped the flank, and we got the win on supremacy points. And as you can see, 2,500 block damage there, so you can always get block damage in this thing. Now moving up to tier 10, again there was a couple of tanks I originally added. Firstly I was trying to get footage for the M6 Yo, and then I thought, you know what, overall the only really thing the Yo's got is that intra clip, that 1.7 intra clip, and I thought, is that good enough to add into the best tier 10 in the game? Yes and no really, but overall, the overall gameplay, the overall tank itself, I honestly think that the Kranvagn tops that. I've said it before, I do think the Kranvagn is one of the best, played correctly, is the best tier 10 tank out there. It has the auto reloading system. It has an amazing turret, and it has a fairly strong armor profile in general, to be honest. And I just love the fact, I love these auto reloading tanks. I love the fact that you can play it however you want. You can play it as a single shotgun, an auto loader, or you can just shoot 3 and then reload 3, reload 2 if you want. It's that you could play this tank in so many ways, but of course you need to use that armor profile, you need to use that turret for your advantage, because you will get bounces from that. We've just bounced 2 shots from these guys here, and we're up to sort of 1,000 block damage. And when you need to, then reload more shells. I mean, at the moment we've just reloaded 2 shells. I want to get that guy, I want to get that shot on the guy before he backs out, but unfortunately I'm not able to get the second shot. I was weary of the waffle over there, and now I'm looking behind me, so now I really sort of need to push forward, but I don't want to push forward when I've only got 1 shell or 2 shells reloaded. I want to use this opportunity to maybe reload 3 shells, but I didn't. I've got that shot there, and the reason I took that shot instead of reloading the other shot, it only had sort of nearly 2 seconds to reload, but I just see he shot, and I went for the track shot to keep him there, because I need to get over this side, because the team behind, and I wanted to sort of create a where they're getting shot from sort of both angles, and it worked. It took the attention of the waffle there, and my team's shot. So definitely the Kranvagn for me is the best tier 10 tank out there at the moment, and even after the nerf I still think it is super strong. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye. With